Hello, today we'll be talking about the process of setting up a business enterprise. Developing an enterprise, the most important first requirement of setting up an enterprise is that we need to have an entrepreneur. And accordingly, that entrepreneur will be in charge of developing and setting up this enterprise. So accordingly, we need to look for a good quality entrepreneur who's capable of managing an enterprise. The entrepreneur will first have to look at business identification. We need to establish a business. We need to establish an enterprise. What will this business do? So accordingly, it's the first job of the entrepreneur to start seeking business ideas, general business ideas in the service, product, manufacturing, or in agriculture. We don't care. The point is, an entrepreneur has to start looking at or identifying a business opportunity for his enterprise. The moment we identify that idea, we need to start developing the business plan. In the business plan, there are a number of components. If we want to start up an IT-based company, what are the requirements? What is the equipment required? Who are the staff needed? What technologies will be required? Where will we get them from? Who are my competitors? How will I compete with them? What's my pricing strategy? What's my marketing strategy? How will I manage this fund? Where will I get financing from? So all of these questions have to be answered by the entrepreneur in the business plan so that we develop this structure of what we call calculated risk taking. The business plan will help the entrepreneur identify his risks and his opportunities and be able to develop a calculated risk business. He also has to decide on the form of the organization. Will it be a sole ownership? Will it be a partnership? Are there foreign partners, local partners, and all of these issues that have to be addressed by the entrepreneur? What are the government policies and procedures for getting a web-based company in Bahrain or in the country we are addressing? So accordingly, these requirements, the entrepreneur has to seek the information to get, and he needs to decide on these things. I know in some countries it is difficult to develop a newspaper. So if an entrepreneur wants to develop or make a magazine, the requirements could be a little bit stiffer. So accordingly, before we start implementing that project, the entrepreneur has to do his own research, establish his own contacts with the government to see what are the requirements and procedures to get that legal license. And then the entrepreneur will have to start looking at arranging the basic business requirements. Where will we get the financing from? Who will meet? Do we meet these financing requirements? Do we have enough collateral? Do we have enough documentation to convince and persuade the financial institutions or the investor to invest with us? Where will we set up this company? Location, infrastructure, facilities. If you're looking at an IT-based company, internet is one of the major challenges. Do you have good quality infrastructure, internet capabilities or not? Are there special areas or special zones where IT companies are based in the country we are addressing? So accordingly, all of these things the entrepreneur has to look at. Land and building. Do I build? Do I rent? Do I buy? What kind of setup? Do I do it from home and then gradually move out? So these are things that the entrepreneur has to look into and has to take decisions upon. How will I manufacturing process? When it comes to IT, am I going to program myself? Will I do it with freelance, IT programmers? Will I establish linkages with with some foreign companies that can do the development for me? If you're doing manufacturing of a real physical product, there are many ways to manufacture products. You could manufacturing a pen, a simple pen, a marker, you are 2 or 3 different ways of manufacturing that pen. There's something called injection molding on plastic, or is it by suction, or is it by simple, So accordingly, all of these requirements the entrepreneur has to look into, and all of these questions he has to address these questions and try to find answers for. Plant and machinery. What equipment would we buy? Would we buy a local machine? Would we import that machine? What standards is this machine coming? Manufacturing a pen that sells for $50 is completely different than manufacturing a pen that sells for $500 or $1,000. So accordingly, the quality of the machinery, the quality of the raw material will all change depending on the kind of product that you're looking to develop. Materials, manpower, utilities, electricity. Is your manufacturing facility electricity intensive? Is it water intensive? What are the rules and regulations for electricity consumption in that country? So all of these questions entrepreneurs really need to look into. How will we then business implementation? How will we implement that business? How will we move from this business plan paper document into real on the ground reality of implementing these steps? And there are many things that will come into the picture. How will we survive this business, stabilize it and grow it? Because the idea is not only to establish a business, the idea is to grow and expand and sustain that business so that 3, 4, 5, 6 years from today, that business is still there, growing and expanding and improving. So once again, the success of an enterprise is really based on the entrepreneur, on his ability to plan, his ability to implement, and the means of managing that enterprise. These 4 components ensure the success of the business. So accordingly, there is a lot of things to be done by the entrepreneur, and there are many things that are on the shoulders of business counselors. Through the program, through this virtual innovation hub, what we are trying to do is to assist the entrepreneur in building his capacities so that he can be a better planner, a better implementer, and be able really to manage the growth and expansion of this business. Thank you very much.